What is good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Foxy. Welcome back to the Fox's Den. Getting into another reaction. Good old Tokyo Revengers, episode 10 of season 2. I'm very excited to see what we get into this because we kind of finished up what was going on with the conflict in the church. Black Dragon is officially defeated. Taiju is still alive. Hakai is not afraid of him anymore. Yuzuha didn't kill him. Neither of them killed Taiju. Like, we're all good on that front. And we actually took out Black Dragon just with the help of Mikey and Draken. I mean, those two are just absolute savages. So big shout out to them for coming up to help. And also Takemichi and the rest of them for holding their own and actually putting up a fight. Even though they didn't really get like successful in taking them out on their own, Takemichi obviously himself too, like he didn't do a whole lot, but at least he stepped up and he didn't back down. That's like what you can always respect out of Takemichi. I mean, yes, he's gonna get his ass beat. That much is clear after watching the show for a good while now, but he's not one to back down and give up, even though he's getting his ass absolutely rocked. So you gotta respect him for that. And we pretty much finished up that conflict in the church. And then right towards the end of the last episode, I think, yeah, we got an end credit. The end credit was, you know, Takemichi on the back of Mikey's bike, and he's like, where are we going? I was like, bro, you better take this man to the hospital. But looks like that can wait, because Mikey ends up bringing him to, I guess, where Hina lives, like in her like apartment, like courtyard. And Takemichi gets off the bike and he starts walking into the courtyard, and then he sees her standing there, and that's literally where it ends. So I'm very excited to see what she has to say, and maybe like after like these things have changed and Takemichi's actually made some progress in what he wanted to accomplish, that he maybe apologizes and you know, reconfesses his love for her, because obviously he didn't want to break up with her, but he did anyways, which is still kind of a confusing piece for me. Like, I don't know why he just didn't like stop, like he just still did it. I don't know, especially if they're about to get back together now, which I hope they do, because obviously, like, I don't care like if Hina's like with Takemichi and like that's like and he's like in a gang or whatever. Like, I feel like it's safer for him to be with her and keep tabs on her as much as possible, rather than, you know, not knowing her and like kind of separating himself from her and her life, and then it still ends up happening in the present timeline where she gets killed. So I think it's better that they stay together. So I'm very excited to see what conversation they have and what they have to say to each other, and hopefully it's, you know, ends in a happy ending and they actually end up getting back together. Or maybe there's some sort of crazy twist or something. But I mean, I have a feeling that, you know, they're gonna end up, you know, getting back together. But I wonder who's gonna like kind of, I guess, start that conversation first. It seems like Hina wants to say something, and it seems like Mikey knew, like maybe like Hina called Mikey like, yo, bring Takemichi here or something like that. I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. It feels like she has something that she wants to get off her chest, and hopefully Takemichi wants to do the same. I'm sure he wants to like apologize and whatnot. And this episode is called The Light of My Life, which I'm assuming is talking about Hina for Takemichi. So I'm expecting a happy ending here, but you never know. There could be some sort of crazy twist or something, maybe some crazy info. Very, very curious, but without further ado, we're gonna have to find out for ourselves. Let's get into the episode. If you guys enjoy it, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. Let's get into it. Episode 10 of season 2, Tokyo Revengers. Yes, she is. Yeah, no shit. Maybe apologize? Come on, bro. You say something, man. All right, here we go. Right into the intro. Oh, she probably realized. She realized how her dad felt. Very true. Hey, she said her piece. I respect that.
よし。この件はうちに任せな。
So she's the one that helped her out. Like maybe got in touch with Drekken.
竹道
Yep.
マイキーめんどくせえクリスマスだぞだから何って言われりゃそのあれだけどどこにいんのかもわかんねえのに
ケンチン戻ろうよさっきのインパルスの音やっぱミツヤだタケミッチも一緒かもしんねえ
竹道絶対連れてきてね。避難地の前で合流ね。
So this is the only reason why this happened in the first place.
行くよ避難。待ってよ。
So maybe it actually turned out for the best that he still went along and broke up with her, because that was the reason why she even, like, said her piece to her father and then came out here to pray and even met up with Emma, who's the one that called them. Yeah, right, yeah, he's the one that's gonna cry. He's talking about the future, Hina, too.
君が死んでも
何言ってるの竹道くん。
トラックにひかれても
Oh my god, he's actually saying this?
感覚がなくなっても何度でも守るからそれってじゃあ
仲直り。
There we go. Mission accomplished, baby. Ain't gotta worry about that no more, Takemichi. Come on now. Come on now.
よかったね、ひな。
Emma.
女に弱くて
Oh my god.
喧嘩も弱くてでもいざって時は頼りになるほんとあの人みてえだなタゲミッチは
ああ
And who was that? Who was him?
寒い。
The father's face, bro.
ついこの間までランドセル背負ってたのにこうやって大人になってくんだな
He's mad, but he can't
これ以上ちょっかいかけて
repulse it anymore because he already succeeded in Takemichi breaking up with her the way he wanted him to, and then they still got back together. So it's like, what are you gonna do now, bro? Like, come on, are you gonna be a dick for the rest of your life to your daughter's like choices?
みんなといるときは怖くて近寄りがたいのにこうやって二人でいるとなんか穏やかで何でも話してくれそうでエマだけ母ちゃん違って昔は別々に暮らしてた
Oh, interesting. So they're half siblings.
10年くらい前にうちにエマ置いてどっか行っちゃったうわあさらっと壮絶たまにわかんなくなる当たり前のようにいた兄貴がいない
Hmm.
そういう時はいつも頭が真っ白になって
Wow.
右も左も上も下もわかんなくなっちまう
Yeah, bro, that sucks. Having someone's that close to you in your life and then all of a sudden they're gone.
深い闇を抱えてるって兄貴は暴走族のトップだったくせに喧嘩が弱かったえ、嘘めっちゃ意外なんすけど
新一郎。
あ
新一郎は喧嘩も弱いし。
Oh, that's who they're talking about. Takemichi reminds them of Mikey's older brother.
なんで男にモテるんだ？
万次郎にはまだわかんねえよ東京中の猛者たちを先導する兄貴はいつでもキラッキラに輝いてたあの人が後ろにいるから負けねえみんなきっとそう思ってたマイキー君みたいっすね俺は弱いよえお前は強いタケミッチ本当に大切なことは喧嘩に勝つことじゃねえ
Mm.
自分に負けないことだ
That's facts, bro. Not losing to yourself, having discipline, believing in yourself, not being able to back down. That's literally everything that Takemichi does, bro. He can't fight for shit, but he fucking stands the fuck back up, bro. That's very true, yeah. He has a strong heart.
兄貴のように
例の件 発表は年明け一発目の集会か。
だが
What are we announcing? What are we announcing, dude?
そうしたら暴れるだけよ。東満の総流としてな。
そう言ってあった。
Oh, is it it's a graffiti piece they made? Yeah. Wow.
ルナ、マナ置いてきちまったけど平気かな。いつからそこに。
あ、ずっと見てたよ。
不良だ。子供なのにピアス。
座れよ。
So this is how they first met.
俺は竜宮寺剣。お前は？
三谷隆。
じゃ、この絵俺のもん。
俺のもん。
カルビ丼と交換な。
So what? He's taking the credit? Because he ate his food? What the fuck?
ここがお前んち。
That's right, bro. He grew up in a brothel.
買い出しってよ。
やだ、忙しい。
聞いてよケンボー、さっきの客がさ。
後でな。
ちょっとジョーカーなんでもありルールやめね。こいつジョーカー引きすぎでしょ。お前今日からあだ名ジョーカーな。
俺はマッサージ1時間券。
マッサージ。
ケンボーのマッサージはピカイチよ。
Oh, okay, yeah.
よし
Yeah.
この仕事見た目以上にきっちいから。
負け続けたら地獄。次の日手動かねえもん。こいつ家出してんの。
へえ。どんまいジョーカー。
Don't mind.
俺もここに住みたいな。何すんだよ。
帰れ。甘ったれてんじゃねえぞクソガキ。
でもあいつら痛くているわけじゃねえから。
Yeah.
あの男
I figured as much. They don't see it as fun. They're just trying to make money.
好き？
This is like an escapism for him. Like he's getting away from his usual life and his usual responsibility because it's left all onto him on his shoulders because his mom's never home.
聞いて
But
た。まずいんだよ。
he knows what's best. He ended up going back eventually, I'm
まずい
sure.
とかそういうの憧れる。本当は心配で心配でしょうがねえんだろ。
Yep,
妹たちのこと。
damn right.
顔に書いてあるぜ。お前はいいやつだ。不良に向いてねえよ。じゃあな。
俺は家族を大事にする不良になる。
He got a tattoo just like him. Twin dragons.
普通同じタトゥー入れる。
So that's how he got the tattoo. That's pretty fucking cool, man. So he still has it, but he still has his hair grown out.
どうした？
なんでもね。
That's pretty fucking cool.
すごい人だね。
本当だ。いくつ？天使やん。
子供扱いすんなよアホ面。美人好き。
どういう教育してんすか。悪い悪い。
はい。お姉ちゃん。
That's right. He's nervous around other women. He like can only talk to his sister.
こらこら、俺のヒナだぞ。お前よくそんな難しいこと声上げて言え
He
る
came and stole your girl, man.
デートなのに。
His little whimper. Bro, that shit geeks.
いつでもできるだろ。
そっか。姉ちゃんそりゃ惚れるよな。
大樹がさ、一昨日家で
Wait, she likes Mitsuya or?
俺は八海を強く育てたかった。花垣武道は何者だ。
Wow, he actually took an interest in him?
八海をあいつは変えた。もうこの家に俺は必要ねえ。改心するつもりはねえ。でも暴力が全てじゃねえことは認める。お別れだ、ユズハ。せいせいすんだろ。
Well, that's kind of. I actually kind of respect that because he acknowledged that he was an asshole and he's like, okay, I'm not gonna mend my ways for that because there was too much pain and suffering that I put y'all
二人
through.
を変えた。
So he's just moving on with his own life.
そんな花垣武道が
ちょっと待ってよ姉ちゃん、タカちゃんに同じなんじゃねえの？
That's what I was thinking.
兄弟にしか見えない坊主だし。
Ah, okay, yeah, no, so she actually likes Takamichi.
一方的な思いは罪じゃねえだろ。
Okay, Takamichi. That's funny how that works out. That's crazy.
竹道くん。絵馬あるよ。
お、書こうよ。
なになに？
Oh, here we go.
いいじゃんかよ。
見せろって。
ダメですってば。
楽しそうじゃねえかよ。
Everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, give me that shit, yeah.
俺の今だぞ。
Who's gonna pick it up? Mikey, of course.
俺のエマってこれ？年が明けるまであと10秒。
Oh, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, let's go! Yay! Yo, it's lit. Oh, I hope to be a hero who can save everyone. That's okay. Wow, respectable. I fuck with that. It's kind of, I guess, an Emma for like what they were writing down. It's kind of like a New Year resolution. That's really cool. That was a feel-good episode. I fuck with that. Very good, very good. Alrighty, guys. What another amazing episode of Tokyo Revengers. That was a really good one. That was really wholesome and just enjoyable to watch, and you know, some of them kind of fonding over their memories on how they met each other and shit, and you know, the New Year's thing at the end. Like that was a feel-good episode. That was really cool. And as we thought, you know, for sure, like, you know, this episode was called The Light of My Life, so I was already thinking like, okay, it seems like, you know, off the last episode, like Takamichi about to meet up with Hina, like they're probably gonna like, you know, go over what they had just been through and kind of get back together, and that's exactly what happened. Hina was like the one that was like thinking about things, and it kind of worked out on how this all got set up, really, and Takamichi following through with breaking up with her according to her dad's will and what he wanted him to do. It actually kind of worked out because because of that, Hina knew right away that it had to have been her dad that said something or what, because she knew herself that like Takamichi really cared about her and whatnot, and he didn't really give her a 100% reason, or like it wasn't like justifiable. Like he said like, oh, I like somebody else. Like, nah, that's bullshit, bro. Like that there's no way. Like that's not fucking believable at all. So she like kind of saw through that right away, and she goes and confronts her dad about it immediately, and basically goes on to say like, you know, like he's a hoodlum and this and that, but like that's not the only thing that fucking describes him. Like he's very warm and kind, and his character is what I really like about him. Like just because he's a hoodlum and he hangs out with these other hoodlums, like that doesn't make that's all he is. Like that's not it, and that's not the reason why I like him or love him. And she basically compared that to like, you know, him falling in love with mom or her mom, or his wife, you know, because like, is that the only thing that you looked out for whenever you fell in love with her, was just her appearances? Like it's not just that, like, you know what I'm saying? So she said her piece right there, and I really fuck with that. Like, you know, it's not, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. Like just because someone looks a certain way, or, you know, this is like the one thing that you know about this person, doesn't mean that's all there is to them. You know what I'm saying? So I like how she stood up for herself and also Takamichi in that fact. And so that shows that she really wanted to work things out. And then she ends up going down to the shrine, kind of, I guess, near her apartment. I don't know if that's a shrine that's like right there. It seemed like it was like right in the courtyard with like where they were meeting or whatever. But anyway, she ends up seeing Emma down there. And Emma's Draken's girlfriend, but also Mikey's half-sister. So she ends up kind of confiding in Emma and like telling her what happened, and she was like, oh damn, your dad got involved. Like that must be kind of brutal for Takamichi. And so even though like Hina was very upset with Takamichi at first and like very mad, that was her first reaction, she kind of like, is very respectful of her to kind of realize like Takamichi was going through a lot to be able to make that decision just because her dad told him to do so. So that's really respectable out of her. And then since Emma, you know, found out this information through Hina, she wanted to help Hina, so she was like, all right, let me call Draken. So this is like how this even set up in the first place, and how they even ended up taking out Black Dragon in the first place too, is like Emma called Draken, and she was like, yo, go find Takamichi. Like, we need to know where he's at. We need to find him and bring him here immediately so we can meet him up with Hina. and they can talk this out. And so that's what makes them look for Takemichi in the first place. But that, like, after Mikey overheard that conversation on the phone, or at least like Draken talking on the phone with Emma, Mikey was like, you know what? I have this feeling with Mitsuya, like, you know, something going on with Mitsuya, and I have a feeling Takemichi's with him. So let's go find them. And then sure enough, that's where it led them to go to the church, and that's where all of Black Dragon was. And they ended up settling everything between Taijo and Black Dragon, and ended them. And you know, that's how this all worked out in the first place. And then it ends up, you know, circling back to where Takemichi ends up talking to Hina in the courtyard, and he apologizes for everything, and is even kind of thinking about like the future, or like the present timeline, where he's like, even if you can't feel your legs, even if you get hit by a truck, even if you die, like, I want to protect you, this and that, blah blah blah. So it was a very, very cute moment of him being vulnerable and apologizing to her, and telling her basically, like, just forget that we ever broke up. Like, I don't want that, which is very cute to see. And it was funny because Emma's watching the whole thing. It's like the audience was like Draken, Mikey, and Emma were like all of us, and Emma was like the one that was enjoying it the most. Like, oh, I'm so happy right now. Like, she was going crazy. So that was really cool to see. They made up and they're back together. So that's awesome. And then pretty much after that, I think, we got into a little conversation one-on-one with Mikey and Takemichi, because Takemichi went and rode with Mikey again on the back of his bike, and it was just them two this time. And as Takemichi said, Mikey kind of has a different vibe when they're just together one-on-one, like compared to like in front of the whole gang and whatnot. He's very like unapproachable and kind of cold or like menacing looking. But when it's just them two, it's like he's so chillaxed and laid back that he feels like he can talk to him about anything. So that's where he starts talking to him about, like, oh, where are your parents? And then he goes on to say, oh, I don't have any. And that's how we learn that Emma's his half-sister, and that they were raised by their grandparents or grandpa. And then he goes on to say, you know, talking about his brother, his older brother was kind of like a father to them, because he was like 10 years older. So, you know, he was always like that father figure. And earlier in the episode, I think was it Draken or Mikey? It was either Draken or Mikey said, like, man, he really is a lot like him, huh? And I was like, him? Who are they talking about, him? And that's who they were talking about, is Mikey's older brother. Apparently Takemichi and, you know, Mikey's older brother were a lot alike, in the sense that a lot of people looked up to him, a lot of people loved him, and a lot of people rallied around him, even though he wasn't that strong and he wasn't really a capable fighter. Which is very similar in the fact of Takemichi, because Takemichi's always getting his ass beat, but he's able to rally the troops, he doesn't back down, and he's respected by a lot of people. And that's exactly what Mikey's brother was like, because, I mean, we didn't know this. I think this is new information, but from the looks of like what we've seen from Mikey's older brother so far, like he seemed like a pretty capable guy, or like a, you know, a cool looking dude that could hold his own. But apparently no, he was also not a good fighter, but everybody followed him. And so that's pretty cool to see, is that they're pretty similar, and that they made that connection. Draken and Mikey have been thinking about that, like Takemichi's a lot like Mikey's older brother. And that's good, because Mikey's been talking about like how he kind of feels lost sometimes, you know, without his brother's guidance. Like he doesn't know right from wrong, and at least he's self-aware of that. But that also comes in clutch, because since Takemichi is kind of like his older brother, it looks like Takemichi might be the key in keeping Mikey's sanity in check. You know what I'm saying? Like not running off the rails and making these crazy decisions, like how it happens in the present timeline, where he kind of became like true evil, apparently. So it seems like Takemichi is that key piece in like keeping everything together, and like keeping the good in check, and being a positive influence for everybody in Tokyo Manji. So that's really cool to see. And then after that, we kind of get a little bit of a backstory between how Draken and Mitsuya met, and how Draken even got that tattoo in the first place. And this phrase "twin dragons" is because Mitsuya left out of his house one night, because I guess he was, you know, going through one of these stages where like, damn, like, why do I have to put up with all this responsibility and whatnot? Because he's such a young kid already, but he has to do so much. It's like, man, why does this fall on me? So he probably felt like he wanted to escape a little bit and like try and, you know, do something. You know, he was just feeling frustrated, so he went out and he graffitied this piece on the wall, where it's like two twin dragons or whatever, or just like this cool looking dragon, and Draken's there, sitting there, watching the whole time, like Kid Draken. And Mitsuya's like, what the fuck? How long you been here? He's like, I've been here the whole time. And so he shares his food with Mitsuya. Mitsuya ends up eating all of it. And so Draken's like, all right, I claim this drawing. This is mine. Since you ate all my barbecue, this is my drawing. And then they go out to hang out at Draken's place, which he lived in like a brothel. So obviously Mitsuya is very surprised at first. And then like Mitsuya's kind of having a good time, feeling this escapism and having a chance to get away from all of his responsibility. But the whole time he really is worried about his sisters. Like he's a good kid. He's a good older brother. So, you know, he's trying to soak himself in this enjoyment or this escapism from his responsibility. But he knows what he should be doing, and Draken saw through that too, and he was like, man, go home, bro. You're worried about your sisters. Like, it's written all over your face. Like, it's all good, you know. Just go home. So that was really cool to see how they met, and then eventually they kind of like reconnect, and they had both shaved the sides of their head and gotten the same tattoo. But I think Draken's was on the left side of his head, and then Mitsuya has it on the right side of his head. So it's the same drawing that he put on that wall. But they weren't expecting both of them to get the same tattoo, just on opposite sides of their heads. So that's where the term twin dragons came from. And Draken was still like, nah, I claim that drawing whenever, you know, you ate my barbecue, man. Come on. So grow your hair out. And that's, you know, exactly what happened. You know, Mitsuya grew his hair back out, and so that's why you can't see the tattoo anymore, even though it's still there probably. And then Draken obviously is still rocking it, and, you know, the classic tattoo piece that he has on the side of his head. So it's really cool to see how like they kind of met and rekindled their friendship, and how Mitsuya kind of like looked up to him or followed him, and that's how their relationship kind of grew. That was really, really cool to see. And then after that, I think we pretty much just get into the New Year festivities that they were all meeting up to, you know, have fun and meet up with each other. Really cool to see. They're all kind of having their fun times. Akai and Yuza came along. Mitsuya and his younger sisters came along. Mikey, Draken, Emma. I mean, pretty much all of Tokyo Manji, or like the main like crew, or like the officers and stuff. They're all there having a good time. Takamichi and Hina, you know, they're having a good time. And Mitsuya's sisters actually steal Hina away for a little bit, which was kind of cute. Takamichi's like, "What? That's my Hina. Where's she going?" And then they kind of have a moment where they're writing on their, I guess, their New Year's resolutions, basically, but it's called Emma in Japanese, something like that. Oh wait, but before that, we actually had a really interesting moment of Yuzaha like kind of talking to Hakai about like what Taiju had gone through and whatnot, and I think right before that flashback where we see Taiju leaving the house, Hakai was like, "Oh yeah, I could see why you like him. Like, he's pretty tough. He's pretty cool, right?" After that night, you know what I'm saying? And she kind of blushes a little bit. That's where I was like, "Wait, is he talking about Takamichi or Mitsuya?" Because obviously Takamichi is with Hina right now. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know, I was like, which one is he talking about? It's gotta be Mitsuya, right? I mean, because he's, as far as I know, he don't have a girlfriend. But anyways, we get that flashback with Taiju and Yuzaha, and Taiju basically acknowledges that he, you know, violence isn't always the right answer, but he's not going to mend his ways, because I guess he's kind of trying to atone for doing what he did, and it was way too much to just say sorry for, you know what I'm saying, or mend his ways. Like, he doesn't, it's like almost like he doesn't deserve to mend his ways because he did so much wrongdoing to them. So I kind of respect that. Like, he just leaves the house and like, this is goodbye, like, you know. And he actually took an interest in how Hanagaki, like Takamichi, like actually got Hakai to grow strong, which is what he's been trying to do his whole life, but like just in like a very negative reinforcement way. So it's almost like Taiju even respects Takamichi now, which is crazy to think about. But that is pretty interesting. And then he ends up leaving the house, and so like they don't have to worry about Taiju anymore. Like, he's just on his own, like going to do his own thing, I guess, and live on his own, like a normal like man's life or something. Maybe now, who knows? So that was cool to see. And then once we come out of the flashback, it's sure enough like Yuzaha's actually talking about Takamichi, and Hakai is like shocked, like, what? You have a crush on Takamichi? Like, what the fuck? Like, because obviously, yeah, Takamichi's already with Hina, and she recognizes that, so she's self-aware. She's like, there's nothing wrong with like a one-sided crush, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's actually kind of cute that Yuzaha actually has a crush on Takamichi, and that goes to show like how, I guess, like dependable, or, you know, just because he never backs down, even though he's getting his ass beat, he still stands the fuck up, and that's respectable in his own right. So much so that Yuzaha is falling for him apparently, and yeah, it's kind of cute, but too bad because he's with Hina. So I guess she's just gonna have to live with that. Maybe she'll grow out of that eventually, but hey, she at least she recognizes it. She's self-aware. She's like, hey, it's a one-sided crush, I know. And that's pretty much where we get into the little New Year's resolution things, and Takamichi writes that down, like, I hope to be a hero and save everyone one day. and he's talking about literally, you know, all the friends that he has right now, Mikey, like all of his close people in the Tokyo Manji gang, including Hina, and then whoever else. So he's hoping to, you know, be able to accomplish that all in one shot eventually one day. And everybody's trying to, you know, pick it up and read it, and he's like, if someone else, if you show it to anyone, it won't come true, blah blah blah. And this actually means a lot to him, so I can see why he's so like hell bent on like keeping it from anyone. But it's actually, you know, pretty nice because Mikey ends up picking it up and then gives it back to Takemichi. I don't know if he saw it or not. But it just shows it at the end of the episode as they all jump up right when midnight hits and New Year's hits. So that was a feel-good episode. That was really cool, really wholesome, and you love to see it. But I don't think this is over yet. I mean, this kind of felt like almost like a season-ending finale, but I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 episodes left. I would think there's like 2 more since we're on episode 10, so I would think there's at least 12 episodes, I'm pretty sure. At least as far as I remember, or as far as I've seen, I think. So I'm curious to see what else we get into after this episode and how this season ends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Takemichi decides, like, okay, let's see how the future looks now. And it goes back to the future, but he could still be in jail. So, like, is he going to stay for even a little bit longer? Try and, I don't know, just go through the flow and make sure everything's okay? Because a lot has changed after that Black Dragon fight. And defeating them and Yuzuha, you know, Taiju still being alive, not getting killed, Hakai and Yuzuha, you know, coming to terms with them, with Taiju stuff, and Hakai, like, you know, gaining some confidence in himself and not, you know, seeping into that low life scum that he could have become. So I'm curious, what do we get into next? You know, maybe he does go back to the future, or maybe we stay here and we just catch up with some of the other people, or maybe we finally figure out some more about Kasaki, because god damn, this man's a master manipulator, bro. We still have yet to like fucking dive any more into that, so we'll just have to wait and see. But as usual, another amazing episode by Tokyo Revengers. Can't complain. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when the next one's dropping. I'll see you on the next one. Y'all be good. Deuces.